Was Brooke Shields in the right, or do you think it was kind of a mean girl move? This was entertaining, although let's discuss. Okay, Meghan Markle, as you know, has one tale that she loves to tell. That tale would be, when I was 11, I wrote to a company and blah, blah, blah about the dishwashing soap, right? So I'm not even going to reiterate. We all know the story. Well, there's somebody else in Hollywood who just decided to let us all know how she feels about Meghan Markle, and it was very interesting. Brooke Shields sat down, and she was in a podcast, and it was one of those podcasts where everyone takes their shoes off and puts their feet on the couch and gets cozy and, really is going to let you know how it is. I'm so tired of this fabricated, let's just be real, okay? Let's all just be real, but not act like we're doing you the favor. Can we all just, act like real people? Anyway, in this play acting of relatability, she lets us know that she had to do this thing with Meghan Markle, and Katie Couric was hosting. It was at South by Southwest, and she and Meghan were supposed to be on stage together. And Meghan begins to tell the story about when she was 11, and Brooke was not having it. And so Brooke interjected. And I'll let you hear the story from Brooke's perspective.
There, Katie asks the first question to Meghan. She starts talking and telling a story about how when she was 11, and she keeps saying, well, when I was 11, I saw this commercial and they were talking about washing dishes, and only soap for washing dishes was for women. And she said, I didn't think only women wash dishes. It wasn't there. So I wrote to the company. And when I was 11, I wrote my first letter, and then I was 11. And she kept saying she was 11. So she writes to the company. They changed the text. They changed the commercial. And I go, excuse me, I'm so sorry. Guys, just interrupt you there for 1 minute. I was trying not to be rude, but I wanted to be funny because it was so serious. And I just want to give everybody here a context as to how we're different. I said, well, when I was 11, I was playing a prostitute. The place went insane. And then luckily, it was more relaxed after that. And I was like, oh, I hope she doesn't think I'm rude. I'm not being rude. I was just sort of.
I think it's genius.
It was just too precious. And I was like, they're not going to want to sit here for 45 minutes and listen to anybody be precious.
I see what you did there, Brooke. And here's my issue with that. Not that she called Meghan out, and Meghan is constantly trying to use Brooke's word, be so precious about it. Meghan wanted the attention on her. She wanted to seem like a serious person, so she was carrying way too much weight into a conversation that was supposed to feel more lighthearted. And Brooke didn't like it, so obviously she undermined what Meghan was saying in order to break the tension that she felt Meghan had created by telling this holier-than-thou story. Can we agree that it's a little embarrassing that Brooke would feel the necessity to undermine somebody else to gain the favor of the audience? Meghan was trying to gain the favor of the audience by telling a story that she thought had a lot of weight and value to it. Now, we're all sick and tired of the story. By a long shot. And I do think Meghan needs some news stories. I mean, she really needs to work. Go back to the drawing board, girl. Even if it's a made-up story, at this point, I'll take it. Just tell me something else. But in her way, she was trying to gain the audience's approval. In Brooke's way, she was trying to gain the audience's approval. And she did it at the expense of somebody else on stage. I don't find that very gracious. I don't find it flattering to Brooke, even though I can understand where she's coming from. And I wonder if just because she knew that there's so much global dislike for Meghan, I wonder if she would so willingly have told that story if it had been about, say, somebody else that was not generally disliked. And I think that the idea that we are allowed to be cruel to people because we know others will let us get away with it doesn't negate the cruelty of the action. If you go through life and you are only allowing those things that others will agree to be what reigns and rules your moral code, then you don't have a moral code. Because that means you'll do anything so long as nobody gets mad at you for it. So it's a sliding scale about where your moralities lie. If it's just depending on who will agree with you in that moment, that what you did was okay. I understand where she's coming from. Don't hear me say, I don't even get why she did that. I do get it. I just don't know if it's a flattering story for her to have told. That's all I'm saying. I don't know if it had the desired effect. Now, I know I'm going to get lots of pushback in the comments. I'm sure I will. I'm sure there's going to be lots of people who are like, well, Megan deserved it. Megan would have done the same thing. Well, I don't care if Megan would have done the same thing. We cannot decide that what we do is appropriate because the other person would have done likewise. Again, that's not a moral code. Making my determination on what I can get away with because I bet the other person would have done the same to me doesn't make me any better than the other person, obviously. So that can't be my ruler. That can't be how I judge what I'm supposed to do next. Anyway, I just didn't think that had the punch that Brooke was hoping that it would. I've seen people talking about it. I've seen people like, oh, Brooke really told Megan, oh, this fun moment where the celebrity was willing to talk about Megan. Nobody ever mentions Megan like they ought to. And I wouldn't have minded if she had said that she didn't like what Megan had said or had given us some real valid reason why she didn't like it. Like, Megan always tells this story, but like had been honestly real about it. Anyway, you all tell me what you thought about that. Was Brooke Shields in the right, or do you think it was kind of a mean girl move?